Captain Jake Morrison stood in front of the big window on Luna Station. He looked out at the dark space between the stars. Something was wrong. The sensors had been picking up strange signals for 3 days now. Jake had been a soldier for 15 years, and he knew when trouble was coming. The coffee in his hand had gone cold hours ago. Jake did not care. He was too busy thinking about what the computers were telling him. Ships were moving out there, big ships. More ships than anyone had ever seen before. Captain Morrison. A voice called behind him. Jake turned around. It was Lisa Parker, the smart woman who studied aliens. She looked worried. Her face was pale, and she held a data pad in her shaking hands. "What is it, Doc?" Jake asked. He had known Lisa for 2 years. She never got scared easily. If she was worried, then everyone should be worried too. Lisa walked closer to him. She looked at the data pad, then back at Jake. "I have been reading the alien messages we picked up last week. Jake, they are not just watching us anymore. They are planning something big." Jake set down his coffee cup. "How big?" 12 different alien groups have joined together. They call themselves the Hegemony. They have been talking about humans for months now. They think we are dangerous. Dangerous? Jake almost laughed. We have never even left our solar system. How can we be dangerous to them? Lisa sat down in a chair near the window. She rubbed her eyes. She had not slept much lately. That is exactly why they are scared, Jake. They have been watching how fast humans learn new things. How fast we build new machines. How fast we grow stronger. Jake walked over to his desk. He pressed a button, and a big screen came on. The screen showed a map of space around Earth. Little red dots were moving toward their solar system. There were hundreds of them. "Are those their ships?" Jake asked. "Yes," Lisa said. "My computer says they will be here in 6 weeks." Jake stared at the screen. Each red dot was a ship full of aliens who wanted to destroy Earth. He had fought in wars before, but never anything like this. This was not just a battle. This was a fight for the life of every human being. On the other side of the galaxy, Commander Zekthara stood in his command room. His ship was bigger than a small city. Around him, other alien leaders sat at a long table. They were all very different. Some looked like giant insects. Others looked like walking trees. Some had too many arms. Some had no arms at all, Dot, but they all agreed on one thing. Humans had to die. "The human problem must be solved now," Zekthara said. His voice sounded like metal scraping on stone. "We have waited too long already." A creature that looked like a huge spider spoke up. "Commander, our scouts say the humans only have a few hundred ships. We have thousands. This will be easy." Zekthara nodded. "Easy, yes, but important. If we let the humans live, they will become too strong. In 50 years, they might be stronger than us. In 100 years, they might rule the galaxy." Another alien, one that floated in the air like a jellyfish, made a worried sound. "Are you sure they are that dangerous? They seem so young, so weak." "That is what makes them dangerous," Zekthara replied. "Young species learn fast. They change fast. They grow fast. Old species like us have stopped growing. We have stayed the same for thousands of years. But humans change every day." Back on Luna Station, Jake was in a meeting with other Earth leaders. The room was full of the most important people on Earth. Generals, scientists, and politicians all sat around a big table. Everyone looked scared. "How many ships do we have?" asked General Tom Wright, the head of Earth's Space Navy. 300 fighting ships, answered Admiral Susan Blake. "Most of them are small. The aliens have ships that are 10 times bigger than ours." "What about weapons?" asked another general. "Our weapons are good," Jake said. but we do not have enough of them. And we do not know how strong alien shields are." Lisa stood up. Everyone looked at her. "I have been studying alien technology from the messages we intercepted. Their ships are very advanced, but there is something strange about how they fight." "What do you mean?" asked Admiral Blake. "They follow rules," Lisa said. "Very strict rules. When they attack a planet, they always do it the same way. They line up their ships in perfect rows. They shoot at targets in a specific order. They never change their plans." Jake thought about this. "You mean they do not adapt?" "Exactly," Lisa sighed. "In all the records I found, they have never changed their fighting style. Not once. It is like they cannot think of new ideas during a battle." General Wright leaned forward. "Are you saying we might have a chance?" Lisa nodded slowly. "Maybe, if we can do things they do not expect. If we can be unpredictable." After the meeting, Jake went back to the window. Earth looked beautiful from Luna Station. Blue and green and white, spinning slowly in space. Billions of people lived. Down there, people who had no idea that death was coming from the stars. Jake's friend Ryan Torres walked up beside him. Ryan was a pilot, one of the best. He flew the new experimental fighters that could move faster than anything humans had ever built before. "Scared?" Ryan asked. Jake nodded. "Yes, but not just scared. Angry too." "Angry?" "These aliens think they can just show up and kill everyone we know. They think we are weak because we are young. They are about to learn something about humans." "What is that?" Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man getting ready to fight. "They are about to learn that humans do not give up, ever. And when someone tries to hurt our families, we become very dangerous." Ryan nodded. "When do we start getting ready?" "We already started," Jake said. "Send a message to every ship, every station, every base. Tell them to prepare for war. And tell them something else." "What?" Jake looked out at the stars, where the alien ships were coming. His eyes were hard and cold. "Tell them that Earth is not just our home. It is our fortress. And no one takes our fortress without a fight." Far away in space, the alien ships kept moving toward Earth. Commander Zeke Thara was sure this would be an easy victory. He had no idea that he was leading his people into the biggest mistake they would ever make. The war for Earth was about to begin. 6 weeks later, the alien ships arrived at the edge of the solar system. They came out of the darkness near Neptune, thousands of huge metal shapes that blocked out the stars. Each ship was bigger than anything humans had ever built. They moved in perfect lines, like soldiers marching in formation. Admiral Susan Blake stood on the bridge of her ship, the Defiant. It was Earth's biggest warship, but it looked like a toy next to the alien vessels. Around her, young officers watched their screens with wide eyes. Nobody had ever seen so many enemy ships before. "Send them a message," Susan ordered. Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking. "Tell them we want to talk." The communication officer, a young woman named Kelly Davis, pressed buttons on her. "Console. Channel open, Admiral." Susan took a deep breath. This might be the most important words anyone had ever spoken. "This is Admiral Susan Blake of the United Earth Defense Force. We know you can understand our language. We do not want to fight. Please respond." For 10 minutes, nothing happened. The alien ships just sat there in space, dark and silent. Then, the screen in front of Susan flickered. A face appeared. It was not human. The creature had 4 eyes and skin that looked like gray stone. When it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding metal. "I am Commander Zeke Thara of the Hegemony," the alien said. "You will surrender now. Your ships will power down their weapons. Your planet will prepare for occupation. You have 1 hour." Susan felt her heart sink. she had hoped they could avoid. War. Commander, we have done nothing wrong. Why do you want to attack us? You exist, Zekthara said. That is enough. You grow too fast. You learn too fast. You are a danger to the galaxy. We will remove this danger. The screen went black. Susan stared at it for a moment. Then she turned to her crew. All ships, prepare for battle. Send word. To Earth. Tell them the aliens will not listen to reason. Near Jupiter, Lieutenant Commander Ryan Torres sat in the cockpit of his fighter. It was a new type of ship, built just for this war. It was small and fast, with weapons that could punch. Holes in thick armor. Ryan had been testing it for months, but he had never used it in real combat. Falcon Squadron, this is Control, a voice said in Ryan's headset. Enemy ships are moving toward Mars. Intercept and engage. Copy that. Control, Ryan said. He pushed his engine to full power. Around him, 20 other fighters did the same. They raced through space toward the alien fleet. Ryan had been a pilot for 8 years. He had flown in small wars on Earth, fighting other humans. But this was different. These aliens had technology that was hundreds of years ahead of human science. Their ships had shields that could stop almost any weapon. Their armor was stronger than anything humans could make. But Ryan was not thinking about that. He was thinking about his sister back on Earth. She had 2 small children. If the aliens won this war, those children would die. Ryan would not let that happen. The alien ships came into view. They were moving in a straight line, just like Lisa Parker had said. They would. Each ship was exactly the same distance from the others. They moved at exactly the same speed. It was like watching robots. All fighters, attack formation Alpha, Ryan ordered. The human ships spread out, each one taking a different path toward the aliens. This was something they had practiced many times. The alien ships opened fire. Beams of bright energy shot through space. But the beams all aimed at where the human ships had been, not where they were going. Ryan smiled. The aliens were shooting at patterns, not at actual targets. Break formation. Ryan shouted, "Attack at will." The human fighters scattered in all directions. Each pilot picked his own target and attacked from a different angle. The aliens tried to adjust, but they were too slow. They were still thinking like a computer, following rules and patterns. Ryan dove at a big alien cruiser. Its shields lit up as his weapons hit them. The shields were very strong, but Ryan had an idea. Instead of shooting at the same spot, he flew in circles around the ship, hitting it from different angles. The alien gunners could not keep up with him. Other human pilots saw what Ryan was doing and copied him. Soon, all 20 fighters were flying in crazy patterns, never going straight, never doing what the aliens expected. The alien ships tried to form new formations, but the humans kept changing their attacks. "Ryan, this is Jake Morrison," a voice said on the radio. Jake was commanding the battle from Luna Station. "How are they fighting?" "Just like Dr. Parker said," Ryan replied as he dodged another energy beam. "They are following a program. When we do something unexpected, they get confused." On the bridge of his command ship, Commander Zekthara watched the battle with growing anger. His ships were bigger and stronger, but the human fighters were like insects, buzzing around and stinging from every direction. "Why cannot our gunners hit them?" he demanded. His second in command, a creature with tentacles instead of arms, checked his instruments. "Sir, the humans are not following standard attack patterns. Our computers cannot predict where they will go next." "Then tell the computers to adapt." "Sir, our battle systems are not designed to adapt. They follow the most efficient attack methods developed over thousands of years." Zekthara slammed his fist on his command chair. In every other war, their perfect formations and precise attacks had won easy victories. But these humans did not fight like any other species. They were chaotic, unpredictable, illogical. Back in the fighter, Ryan was running low on ammunition. But he had learned something important. All ships target their communications arrays, he ordered. If we can stop them from talking to each other, they cannot coordinate. The human fighters focused their attacks on the communication dishes and antenna arrays on the alien ships. Without their ability to share information instantly, the alien formations began to fall apart. Ships collided with each other as they tried to turn. Some even shot at their own allies by mistake. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Parker watched the battle on her computer screen. She was in the command center deep underground, surrounded by generals and politicians who were all holding their breath. "It is working," she whispered. "They really cannot adapt." General Wright looked at her. "What do you mean?" "Look at how they fight," Lisa said, pointing at the screen. "Every move they make has been programmed ahead of time. They have battle plans for every situation they can think of. But humans are doing things they never thought of. So we can win?" Lisa shook her head. "This is just the first battle. They have thousands more ships. And they are learning about us now, just like we are learning about them. The next fight will be harder." The battle near Jupiter lasted for 6 hours. When it was over, the humans had destroyed 12 alien ships and damaged many more. But the aliens had also destroyed 5 human fighters. Ryan Torres made it back to base, but his ship was badly damaged as Ryan climbed out of his cockpit. He was met by mechanics who looked amazed. "How did you do it?" one of them asked. "Those ships are 10 times bigger than yours." Ryan wiped sweat from his face. "We did not try to be stronger than them. We tried to be smarter. And it worked." But on the alien command ship, Zekthara was not giving up. He called a meeting with his other commanders. They appeared on screens around his command center, alien faces from across the galaxy. "The humans are more dangerous than we thought," he said. "But they are still just one small species on one small planet. We will adjust our strategy." "How?" asked one of the commanders, a being that looked like a walking crystal. "We will stop trying to capture their ships. From now on, we destroy everything. No prisoners, no mercy. We will turn every human planet and moon into dead rock." The other aliens agreed. They had come here to eliminate a threat. If the humans wanted to fight, then the hegemony would show them what real war looked like. Back on Earth, Jake Morrison received reports from the battle. The news was both good and bad. Good because the aliens could be defeated. Bad because this was just the beginning. "Send a message to every human settlement," Jake ordered. "Tell them we hurt the aliens today. Tell them we can win this war. But also tell them to prepare for the worst fight of their lives." As Jake sent his message, the alien fleet regrouped near Neptune. They had learned that humans did not fight by the rules. Now the aliens would stop following rules too. The real war was about to begin, and it would be more terrible than anyone could imagine. 3 weeks after the first battle, Commander Alex Chun stood on the surface of Mars. Red dust swirled around his boots as he looked up at the orange sky. Somewhere up there, alien ships were coming. His job was to stop them from reaching Earth. Alex commanded the Mars Defense Force. It was not a big army, just 5,000 soldiers and a few dozen ships. The aliens had sent 50,000 troops and hundreds of ships to take Mars. On paper, the humans had no chance. But Alex had learned something about aliens in the past few weeks. They were very smart, but they thought in straight lines. "Colonel Chun," called out Sergeant Mike Brooks. He was running across the dusty ground toward Alex. "The alien ships just entered Mars orbit. They will land in 6 hours. Alex nodded. "Are our people ready?" "Yes, sir. Everyone knows the plan." The plan was simple but crazy. Instead of meeting the aliens in open battle, the humans would hide. They would let the aliens land, then attack them from everywhere at once. It was not the way armies usually fought, but Alex had learned that usual ways did not work against aliens. On one of the alien ships above Mars, Commander Vextar studied maps of the planet. Vextar looked like a giant mantis with 4 arms and compound eyes. He had conquered 20 planets in his long career. Mars would be number 21. "Where are the human forces?" Vextar asked his intelligence officer. "Sir, our scans show they have abandoned their bases. It appears they have fled to Earth." Vextar clicked his mandibles together. This was what he had expected. Humans were cowards, just like all the other young species he had defeated. Begin the landing. We will secure Mars in one day, then move on to Earth. The first alien ships landed in the main human settlement, New Phoenix. The city was empty. Buildings stood silent, with no lights in the windows and no movement in the streets. The aliens spread out in perfect formation, searching every building systematically. Alex watched them from a hiding place in the hills outside the city. The aliens moved like robots, checking each street in order. They were very thorough, but they were also predictable. Alex smiled and spoke into his radio. "Phoenix Base, this is Ghost Leader. Begin Phase 1. All around New Phoenix, hidden human." Soldiers began their attack. They did not charge at the aliens like warriors in old movies. Instead, they appeared for just a moment, fired their weapons, then disappeared again. They used the city's underground tunnels, its rooftops, its maintenance shafts, places the aliens had not thought to check because they were not on their maps. Alien soldiers were confused. Their sensors could not track the humans because the humans kept moving. Every time the aliens turned to face one attack, another attack came from behind them. It was like fighting ghosts. "Sir," an alien soldier reported to Vextar, "we are taking casualties. The humans are attacking from multiple directions." "Impossible," Vextar replied. "Our scans showed no human forces. Perhaps their technology is better than we thought." Vextar's eyes flashed with anger. "No, humans are primitive. Reform the troops in standard defense pattern Omega." The alien soldiers moved into a circle, facing outward. It was a formation. That had worked on every other planet. But on Mars, it just made them easier targets. The humans could attack from above and below, from the buildings and from underground. The aliens could only shoot in straight lines. Meanwhile, on Earth, a different kind of battle was happening. Maya Roberts stood in a factory in Detroit that used to make cars. Now it made weapons. Maya was an engineer, but for the past month, she had been working as a war planner. "How many missile launchers can we build in a week?" asked General Price, who had come to inspect the factory. 200, Maya replied. "But General, these are not normal missiles. Each one can change direction 5 times during flight. The aliens will not be able to predict where they will hit." General Price looked impressed. "How did you think of that?" Maya smiled. "My daughter plays video games. She taught me that the best way to beat someone who is stronger than you is to be unpredictable." All across Earth, similar scenes were happening. Car factories made tanks. Phone companies built communication devices for soldiers. Even toy companies were making parts for weapons. Every human on the planet was working to help win the war. But it was not just about building things. It was about how humans thought about problems. In space, Captain Jake Morrison was leading a patrol near Earth's moon when they encountered a small alien scout fleet. "Captain," said his weapons officer, "their shields are stronger than our guns." "We cannot damage them." Jake thought for a moment. Then he smiled. "We are not trying to destroy them. We are trying to capture them." Target their engines, not their hulls. The human ships fired at the alien engines. The aliens did not expect. This because no one had ever tried to capture their ships instead of destroying them. Within an hour, Jake's crew had boarded 3 alien vessels and taken them back to Earth for study. Dr. Lisa Parker was waiting when they arrived. She had been studying alien technology from the first battle, and she had made some interesting discoveries. "Jake, look at this," she said, showing him an alien computer. "Their whole system is based on following orders perfectly. But what happens if you give it 2 orders that contradict each other?" Jake looked at the computer screen. "It stops working?" "Exactly. Their soldiers, their ships, their weapons, everything is designed to follow a chain of command. But humans do not work that way. We argue, we improvise, we change our minds. That is actually making us stronger in this war." Back on Mars, Alex Chun was putting this theory to the test. The aliens had been trying to capture New Phoenix for 3 days, but they were making no progress. Every time they adapted to one human tactic, the humans would switch to something completely different. "Sir," Sergeant Brooks reported, "the aliens are requesting reinforcements from their main fleet." Alex laughed. "Good. Let them bring more soldiers. The more they send, the more of them we can trap here." "Trap them?" "Mike, Mars is a big planet, but there are only a few places where their ships can land safely. If they bring more troops here, that is fewer troops they can send to attack Earth." It was a strategy that only humans could think of. Instead of trying to win battles, they were trying to waste the enemy's time and resources. They were turning Mars into a trap that the aliens would not realize until it was too late. On the alien command ship, Commander Zekthara was beginning to understand that something was very wrong. He had expected to conquer the human solar system in 2 weeks. It had been 6 weeks, and they had barely taken one city on Mars. "Report," he demanded from Vextar. "Sir, the humans on Mars are using tactics we have never encountered. They do not hold territory. They do not defend strategic positions. They just move around and attack randomly." "Randomly?" Zekthara could not believe it. "That is not how wars are fought. Sir, perhaps that is why it is working." Zekthara realized he was facing something that the hegemony had never encountered before. Every other species they had conquered fought according to military logic. They protected their important locations. They used their strongest weapons first. They tried to win decisive battles. But humans seemed to make up the rules as they went along. They would retreat from important positions, then attack unimportant ones. They would use weak weapons in clever ways instead of strong weapons in obvious ways. They fought like the war was a game they were inventing while they played it. On Earth, Maya Roberts was working on her latest project. It was not a weapon or a ship. It was a communication system that would let every human fighter talk to every other human fighter instantly. "Why is this important?" asked her assistant, a young man named Kevin White. "Because," Maya explained, "aliens fight like a big machine. Every part has a specific job, and they all work together perfectly. But if one part breaks, the whole machine stops working. And humans? Humans fight like a family. If one person gets hurt, everyone else gets angry and fights harder. If someone has a good idea, everyone can use it right away. We do not have to wait for orders from headquarters." As Maya spoke, reports were coming in from across the solar system. Human forces were not just surviving against the aliens. They were learning. Every battle taught them something new about how aliens thought and fought. And every lesson made them more dangerous. The war was changing both sides, but it was changing them in different ways. The aliens were becoming more frustrated and desperate. The humans were becoming more confident and creative. Commander Zeke Thara did not know it yet, but he had made the biggest mistake in the history of his species. By attacking Earth, He had not started a war of conquest. He had started a war of education. And the humans were very fast learners. 2 months into the war, everything changed during the Battle of Luna. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the command center on Earth's moon, watching alien ships approach through the darkness of space. This time was different. The aliens were not coming in their usual perfect formations. They had learned from their mistakes. "They are adapting," said Ryan Torres, who now commanded all of Earth's fighter squadrons. "Look at how they are moving. No patterns, no formations. They are trying to fight like us." Jake nodded grimly. "Then we need to fight like something else." The alien fleet was huge. Commander Zeke Thara had sent half of his remaining ships to capture the moon. If the aliens controlled Luna, they could attack Earth from close range. Jake knew this might be the most important battle of the war, but Jake had a secret weapon. For the past month, Maya Roberts and her team had been building something in the moon's underground factories. They called it the Luna Defense Grid. It was not just weapons. It was a new way of thinking about space combat. "Maya, are you ready?" Jake asked into his communicator. Maya's voice came back from deep inside the moon. "Ready, Jake, but are you sure this will work?" "No," Jake replied honestly. "But that is what makes it perfect. If we are not sure it will work, then the aliens definitely will not expect it." The alien ships came closer, their weapons charged up, ready to destroy the human bases on the moon's surface. Commander Vexstar, who had finally taken Mars after losing most of his army, now commanded this attack. "Human ships are launching from the moon," reported his tactical officer. "How many?" Vexstar asked. 50 fighters, sir. We have 300 ships. This will be easy." But Vexstar had learned to be careful around humans. Maintain defensive positions. Watch for tricks. The human fighters raced toward the alien fleet, but they were not attacking. Instead, they were flying in wide circles around the alien ships, staying just out of weapons range. It looked like they were afraid to get closer. What are they doing? Vexstar wondered aloud. On Luna, Jake smiled. "Now, Maya." Deep inside the moon, Maya pressed a button. Suddenly, the moon's surface came alive. Hundreds of hidden weapons ports opened up. But these were not normal weapons. They were magnetic field generators that Maya had designed based on captured alien technology. The weapons created invisible magnetic fields in space around the alien ships. The aliens could not see the fields, but their ships' metal hulls began to vibrate. The vibrations interfered with their navigation systems, their communications, and their weapons targeting. "Sir, something is wrong with our instruments," an alien engineer reported to Vexstar. "All of our systems are showing errors." Vexstar looked at his screens. Everything was blinking and flashing with warning messages. "What is causing this?" "Unknown, sir. The humans appear to be using some kind of new technology." That was when Ryan Torres and his fighters attacked. The human ships dove toward the confused alien fleet, but they were not using their usual tactics. Instead of flying in unpredictable patterns, they moved in perfect formation, like the aliens used to do. The aliens tried to respond, but their targeting computers could not lock onto the human ships. The magnetic fields were scrambling their sensors. Meanwhile, the human fighters were using simple optical sights, like pilots had used hundreds of years ago. "Impossible," Vexstar shouted. "They are using primitive technology to defeat our advanced systems." Ryan's voice came over the radio to all human fighters. "Remember, aim with your eyes, not your computers. Trust your instincts, not your instruments." The human pilots did something that alien pilots had never learned to do. They turned off their automated systems and flew by feel. They ignored their targeting computers and aimed by watching where their shots went. They became part of their ships instead of just operating them. The result was devastating. Human fighters danced between the alien ships, hitting them with perfect accuracy, while the aliens fired wildly at empty space. Within 2 hours, the alien fleet was destroyed, but the real victory was not the battle. It was what the battle taught both sides. On his command ship, Commander Zikthara watched the destruction of Vextar's fleet with growing horror. This was supposed to be an easy war against a primitive species. Instead, it had become a nightmare that got worse every day. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we are receiving surrender offers from several ships in our outer fleet." Surrender? Offers? Zekthara could not believe what he was hearing. "From whom?" "From our own ships, sir. 3 captains are asking permission to withdraw from the combat zone." Zekthara felt something he had never experienced before in his long military career. Fear. Not fear of death, but fear of the impossible. His perfect, disciplined, technological superior military was being defeated by creatures who had barely learned to leave their own planet. Back on Earth, Dr. Lisa Parker was analyzing the battle data when she made a shocking discovery. "Jake, you need to see this," she said over the communicator. Jake was still on Luna, coordinating cleanup operations. "What is it, Doc?" "I have been studying the alien communication intercepts from the battle. Jake, they are not just losing fights. They are losing confidence. Some of their commanders are starting to question their whole strategy. That is good news, right?" "Maybe, but it also makes them more dangerous. Desperate enemies do desperate things." Lisa was right. In the alien command ship, Zekthara was meeting with his remaining commanders. The holographic faces around him showed aliens from across the galaxy, and for the first time, they all looked uncertain. "The humans are not fighting like any species we have encountered," said Commander Yilnoth, whose fleet was patrolling near Jupiter. "They do not follow military doctrine. They do not protect strategic resources. They seem to make decisions based on ... emotions." "Emotions?" Zekthara spat. "Emotions are weakness. Emotions cloud judgment." "Then why are they winning?" asked another commander. The question hung in the air like poison. No one wanted to answer it because the answer was too terrible to consider. Maybe emotions were not weakness. Maybe the cold, logical, calculated approach that had made the hegemony masters of the galaxy was actually inferior to the chaotic, passionate, creative way that humans fought. On Mars, Alex Chun was leading his soldiers on a final assault against the remaining alien bases. But this was not like the guerrilla warfare they had been fighting for months. This was different. "Today, we do not hide," Alex told his troops. "Today, we attack head-on. But we attack as humans, not as copies of alien soldiers." The human assault was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Instead of advancing in formation, each human squad moved independently, supporting each other but making their own decisions. When one group got pinned down, another group would attack from an unexpected direction. When the aliens focused their defenses on one area, humans would appear somewhere else entirely. But the most shocking thing was not their tactics. It was their motivation. The human soldiers were not fighting because they were ordered to. They were fighting because they wanted to. They were fighting for their families, their planet, their future. And that made them fight in ways no military computer could predict. By the end of the day, Mars was free. The remaining alien forces had either been destroyed or had fled to their ships. Alex stood in New Phoenix, watching alien vessels retreat into space. The city was damaged, but it was alive again. "Sir," Sergeant Brooks said, "we just received word from Earth. Our victory here has inspired human colonies throughout the solar system. Everyone is joining the fight." Alex smiled. "Good. Send a message to the alien commander. Tell him that Mars was just the beginning. In space, Maya Roberts was working on her newest project. She had taken over an asteroid mining station and turned it into a mobile weapons platform. But this was not just about adding more guns to the human fleet. This was about changing how the war was fought. "Kevin, you understand what we are building here?" Maya asked her assistant. Kevin White looked at the plans. The asteroid had been hollowed out and filled with factories, living quarters, and weapon systems. But it also had something else, a huge communications array that could reach anywhere in the solar system. It is not just a battleship, Kevin realized. It is a command center that can move. Exactly. The aliens always know where our bases are, because our bases stay in one place. But what if our most important base could move anywhere? What if we could coordinate the entire war from a location the aliens could never find? As Maya spoke, similar projects were happening throughout human space. Humans were not just defending their territory anymore. They were reinventing warfare itself. They were taking everything they had learned about alien weaknesses and turning it into new ways to fight. The tide of the war was turning, but neither side fully understood why. The aliens thought they were losing because humans had better technology. The humans thought they were winning because they had better tactics. But Dr. Lisa Parker was beginning to understand the real reason. As she studied more alien communications, she discovered something that would change everything. The aliens were not just losing battles. They were losing the ability to understand their enemy. "Jake," she said in her final report of the day, "the aliens are making a fundamental error. They keep trying to analyze us like we are a machine they can understand. But humans are not machines. We are." A final battle began where it all started, in the dark space beyond Neptune. Commander Zekthara brought his remaining fleet to the edge of the solar system, hoping to make one last attempt to complete his mission. He had lost more than half his ships, but he still had enough firepower to destroy Earth if he could reach it. Captain Jake Morrison met him there with the combined human fleet. Every ship that could fly, every weapon that could fire, every pilot who could fight had come to this place. The humans were outnumbered 3-1, but they were no longer the same species that had been surprised by the alien attack months ago. "All ships, this is Admiral Blake," came the voice over the communication system. Susan Blake now commanded the entire human space navy from her flagship, the rebuilt Defiant. "Today, we do not just defend our home. Today, we decide the future of humanity in the galaxy." Jake stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the alien fleet arrange itself in the distance. But something was different this time. The aliens were not moving in their usual perfect formations. Their ships seemed hesitant, uncertain. "Jake," came Dr. Lisa Parker's voice from Earth, "I am monitoring alien communications. They are arguing among themselves. Some commanders want to retreat." Retreat? Jake could hardly believe it. Why? Because they finally understand what they are fighting. On the alien command ship, the argument was getting worse. Commander Zekthara faced a crisis that no hegemony leader had ever experienced. His officers were questioning his orders. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "perhaps we should consider withdrawing to regroup." "Withdrawing?" Zekthara's voice was full of rage. "We are the hegemony. We do not withdraw from primitive species." "But sir," another officer said carefully, "these humans are not primitive. In 4 months of fighting, they have learned to match our technology. They have developed new tactics we cannot counter. They have turned every one of our advantages into disadvantages." Zekthara looked around his command center. For the first time in his career, he saw doubt in his officer's eyes. The perfect discipline that had made the hegemony invincible was cracking. "We came here to eliminate a threat," Zekthara said. "That threat still exists. If we leave now, the humans will learn from this war. In 10 years, they will have ships as good as ours. In 20 years, they will be stronger than us. In 50 years, they will rule the galaxy. His communications officer made a worried sound. Sir, what if they already do? The battle began with the humans doing something no one expected. Instead of waiting for the aliens to attack, they charged straight at the alien fleet. But they did not charge in formation. Every human ship took a different path, moving at different speeds, targeting different enemies. Ryan Torres led the fighter attack, but his pilots were not flying the way they had trained. They were flying the way humans had always flown, using instinct and creativity instead of textbook tactics. Each pilot seemed to invent new maneuvers as they flew. "This is impossible," muttered an alien pilot as Ryan's fighter somehow flew through what should have been a solid wall of energy beams. How is he doing that? The answer was something the aliens could never understand. Ryan was not trying to calculate the perfect path through the weapon's fire. He was feeling his way through it, using the same intuition that humans used to catch a ball or dance to music. It was not something that could be programmed or taught. It was something that could only be lived. On Earth, Maya Roberts launched her secret weapon. The moving asteroid base she had built suddenly appeared behind the alien fleet. It had been hiding in the asteroid belt, powered down and invisible. Now it came to life, its weapons striking the aliens from a direction they had never thought to defend. But Maya's base did more than just attack. It began broadcasting a signal that interfered with alien coordination systems. Suddenly, alien ships could not communicate with each other effectively. Their perfect teamwork fell apart. "What is happening?" Zekthara demanded. "Sir, the humans have found a way to jam our fleet coordination protocols," his technical officer reported. "Our ships are operating independently now." Zekthara realized the terrible irony. The humans had turned the aliens' greatest strength into their greatest weakness. The hegemony ships had been designed to work together as one perfect machine. But humans had broken the machine, leaving each alien ship to fight alone against an enemy that excelled at individual creativity. As the battle raged, something even more important was happening. The human ships were not just fighting, they were learning. Every alien weapon that fired taught them something new. Every alien tactic they encountered became part of their own knowledge. "Jake," came Alex Chun's voice from Mars. "We are monitoring the battle from here. The aliens are making the same mistakes they made when they first attacked us." "What do you mean?" Jake asked as he maneuvered his ship through a cloud of alien fighters. "They are still thinking like a machine. They see US as a problem to be solved, but we are not a problem. We are a process. We change and grow with every fight." Jake understood. The aliens had come to eliminate the human threat, but they had actually created it. Every battle had made humans stronger, smarter, and more dangerous. The war itself had been humanity's greatest teacher. Admiral Blake realized the same thing as she watched the battle unfold on her command screens. "All ships," she broadcast, "the aliens are not our enemies. They are our instructors. They came here to teach us how to fight wars among the stars. Let us show them how good their students have become." The tide of battle turned when the impossible happened. A group of alien ships stopped fighting and began broadcasting surrender signals. For the first time in hegemony history, military vessels were laying down their arms in the middle of a battle. "Sir," Zekthara as communications officer reported, "the 4th Battle Group is requesting permission to withdraw from combat." "Denied." Zekthara roared. "Sir, they are not asking. They are telling us. Commander Yexiran says his ships will not fire on humans anymore." On one of the surrendering alien ships, Commander Yexiran made a decision that would change galactic history. He opened a communication channel to the human fleet. "Human commanders," he said, "this is Commander Yexiran of the Hegemony 4th Battle Group. We wish to stop fighting. Admiral Blake responded personally. Why, Commander? Because we finally understand what we are fighting, Yexirin replied. You are not a species that can be conquered. You are a species that grows stronger. Through conflict. Every battle we fight makes you more dangerous to the galaxy. Are you afraid of us? There was a long pause. Then Yexirin said something that had never been spoken in hegemony history. Yes, we are afraid. Not of your weapons or your ships. We are afraid of what you will become. The surrender of the 4th Battle Group triggered a chain reaction. Other alien commanders began to realize the truth that Yexirin had spoken. The humans were not just defending themselves. They were evolving into something the galaxy had never seen before. Commander Zeke Thara found himself alone with only a few loyal ships. His grand fleet had either been destroyed, surrendered, or fled. The mission that was supposed to eliminate the human threat had instead announced to the galaxy that humans were the new dominant species. Sir, his last remaining officer said quietly, "What are your orders?" Zekthara looked at the tactical display. The human fleet surrounded his position, but they were not attacking. They were waiting. They were giving him a chance to surrender. With honor. Open a channel to the human admiral, Zekthara said. Admiral Blake's face appeared on his screen. She looked tired but not angry. Commander Zekthara. Admiral Blake, I have a question. Ask it. If I surrender now, what will you do with my people? Susan Blake thought carefully before answering. We will treat them with the same respect. We hope to receive when we visit their worlds. When you visit our worlds? Zekthara was shocked. You plan to leave your solar system? Commander, did you really think we would stay here after learning there is a whole galaxy full of life? You came here to stop us from expanding into space. Instead, you have given us a reason to explore every star. Zekthara finally understood the full scope of his failure. The hegemony had attacked Earth to prevent humans from becoming a galactic power. Instead, they had accelerated that process by decades. They had given humans the motivation, the knowledge, and the confidence to claim their place among the stars. Admiral, Zekthara said slowly, what will happen to the hegemony? That depends on you, Susan replied. You can either be our enemies or our teachers. But you cannot stop us anymore. That option ended the moment you decided to attack our home. And Zekthara made the only choice he could. He surrendered his remaining ships and accepted Admiral Blake's terms. But as he did, he knew that he had not just lost a war. He had witnessed the birth of a new galactic civilization. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Parker watched the celebration with mixed feelings. Humanity had won its first galactic war, but she understood what that really meant. Jake, she said when he returned to Earth, do you realize what we have become? What do you mean? We came into this war as the defenders. We are ending it as the conquerors. Every alien species in the galaxy now knows that humans cannot be defeated by force. They will either have to accept us as equals or fear us as masters. Jake nodded. And which do you think?